Gina?
Yeah. How's
Hi.
it going, Mike?
Good.
I got you now.
Thanks for coming.
I cut out for like 2 seconds, but I got you.
All right, good, cool. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. So describe that experience that you had last night, being in that room. Try to take us through what happens back there.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre, and this was my first time doing the actual drawing room experience. I've been in the room where like the envelopes are open and it's all publicly revealed, which also has a lot of like stress and intrigue and tension in it. But being in the actual room, you have to give up your phone. You have no way to communicate with the outside world, and like everyone kind of filters in. They sit in these desks basically, or these tables, and all the lottery teams are there, and then the ping pong ball machine is in when you walk in, and they explain the rules in like exhaustive detail, and then they put the balls in one by one, and then they bounce around, and it's so quiet that you could hear the actual bouncing of the ping pong balls. And then I would say the biggest difference between what most of us see during the lottery is that they pull the first pick right away. So like the tension builds up super quick, but the first combination that they draw is the number 1 overall pick. So when that Dallas pick came up, like there was just kind of a stunned silence in the room. And then they go to number 2, which was San Antonio. And then at that point, the Sixers' odds of landing in the top 4 or keeping their pick actually sort of plummeted. And they knew that the only way that they would keep it is if they got drawn. And then sure enough, their number got drawn 3rd. And then they draw the 4th pick, which is Charlotte, and then it's over. And then you kind of have about 45 minutes to an hour just to wait, still sequestered in this room where, like, everyone in the room knows what's happened, but nobody else outside the room knows what's happened. And so then you all kind of watch the broadcast as it unfolds, but everybody sort of knew. So when Kevin Nagandi made his blunder on TV, like where I was, everyone started laughing because we all knew that it was a mistake and that actually the Sixers had gotten the 3rd pick.
So this is amazing.
It was a pretty unique experience. It was wild.
You know the Sixers have the 3rd pick, and I know you're dying to text a friend, right? And you're helpless there.
Right. Well, and I mean, we're all glued to our phones anyway, right? So, like, there were moments where I'm, like, reaching for something, and I literally, all I have is, like, a notepad and paper, like, totally old-school style, reporter with no recorder, no phone, no way to communicate with anybody. And so, no, we're all kind of just, like, making small talk with the people in the room and just waiting for this TV broadcast to go. But, no, very, very cool experience, very unique look behind the curtain, and obviously a very chaotic night overall with Dallas getting the number 1 overall pick, but certainly with the Sixers keeping the pick, looking like they were probably going to lose it, and then getting drawn for that 3rd pick.
I got to ask you this question because the ping pong balls go in there, right? Are you tempted to say, oh, by the way, can I feel these ping pong balls? I want to see if they're the same weight. Were you tempted at all to do that?
I mean,
or you just trusted everybody?
It was a pretty transparent process, but it was funny because, like I said, we walked in the room and the machine was already there, and then there was honestly a mini briefcase that they opened, like you thought it was going to be millions of dollars in this briefcase, and it's all the ping pong balls, and they pull it out and they're like, 1, drop it in. 2, showing it to the whole room, that there's not an extra number 5 or not an extra number 14 or whatever. But it was a very interesting process.
It's like, in a lot of ways, it's like the casino at the crap table where they have the dice and they have to measure the dice and the weight and the whole bit. But so that's a fascinating experience. So now, when they got to 3, what was your immediate thought process for them getting the 3rd pick? Because a lot of people say there are two players in this draft that can help immediately, and then the rest you kind of project.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, first of all, them keeping the pick just overall, obviously, is a better outcome than them not keeping it based on the season that they just had. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. Daryl Morey was asked immediately after the lottery if the plan is to keep it or if they would consider trading it. And he said right now the plan is to keep it. Obviously, lots can change between now and the draft at the end of June. But there's some interesting prospects there because if you look at, most mock drafts, Ace Bailey is slotted at that number 3 spot, but he's kind of more of a longer-term project. Like, he's got the size, he's got the frame, he's got the, kind of unconscious, shot attempting and shot-making ability, but his efficiency is, I don't know if where you want it right at this point. So are you willing to sort of take a chance on a guy that might have a higher ceiling but maybe isn't quite ready yet? Or do you go with somebody, like a BJ Edgecombe who has an electric athlete, a good defensive playmaker, which feels like it would fit in Nick Nurse's system, and maybe go sort of that direction? And then there's obviously some other people, too, that maybe after the combine this week or after team workouts, maybe there will be some shuffling, heading into the draft. But no, like you said, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper are pretty, solidified at 1-2. I think even after the way that the lottery went with those top 2 picks, I think they're still at the top of the board, no matter who picks there. But yeah, 3 is kind of where it starts to get interesting, and the Sixers are going to kind of be the first team that I think us outsiders are going to be intrigued to see where they end up going.
Talking to Gina Mizell, she covers the Sixers for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Gina, let me go to this scenario. I'll take you back to when they really wanted Markelle Fultz. Is it possible that the San Antonio Spurs would not sit there and take Dylan Harper because they're kind of guard loaded at this point, and they would take Ace Bailey as the wing player, or would the Sixers like to be sure of that, like trade into that second spot?
Yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, the other, not to throw another wrench into this whole thing, but the other really interesting storyline is now this whole Giannis thing. And, the reports coming out yesterday morning that he would potentially, maybe, possibly, perhaps be willing to explore leaving Milwaukee. And so does a team like San Antonio, go after Giannis or somebody like that and try to, pair him with Victor Wembanyama and, sort of go for it immediately. And then that would open up potential opportunities, but then would, whoever gets that second pick, would they still, draft Dylan Harper just because he's the best player available? So, again, this is all, the night last night was super intriguing, and it sets up, I think, a very intriguing NBA offseason just because of the draft itself and the Cooper of it all, but then also just, what potentially the ripple effects could be. So, yeah, you bring up a fair point as far as the Sixers sort of honing in on who they wanted at that point. But, I think right now they're still at 3, and it'll just be really interesting to see what the teams ahead of them decide to do.
What do your instincts tell you? Like, otherwise they're running it back with the same mindset and the same crossed fingers, and they're just adding a rookie player who, if it's not Dylan Harper, is not going to make an immediate impact. Do you believe that Morey is more inclined to shake it up here or not?
I tend to lean more run it back, at least at this point, with trying to bring back someone like a Quentin Grimes, who's a restricted free agent, trying to bring back a Gershon Yabusele, who is an unrestricted free agent, but is going to probably garner a lot of interest just because of the really nice season he had in his return to the NBA. But just kind of given their contract situations and given their health situation, I think that is, they still are in that win now mode and believe that if they have some improved health that they can sort of jump right back into being a playoff caliber team, perhaps even a fringe contender. So, yeah, again, this is a great asset for them to have. Either if, a trade comes along that completely blows them away, I don't think they would put it past them to pull the trigger on a trade, but certainly, they believe that, at least Daryl Morey said last night, that he believes that, this draft is really strong at the top, and that, even though typically the kind of conventional belief is that it's obviously hard for rookies to contribute on a good team right away, that this draft is so talented at the top that, they feel like they can be a good player there.
Gina, thank you so much for coming on. My last thing is, did they give you a ping pong ball as a souvenir?
I wish. That would be awesome.
No, they didn't give the people a ping pong ball. I can't believe it.
I know. I have a NBA notebook because, again, they had to give us something to take notes on. That's my grand souvenir from the draft. But no, that would actually, I should get on NBA PR and be like, we should get some sort of.
Oh man, that's the least they can do. What are they going to do with those ping pong balls at this point? They're useless.
Yes.
You play ping pong with them now. All right.
Exactly.
Gina.
I will say the Dallas, their rep, he was walking around with the winning combination, during that weird period that we were all, waiting around, and I was like, he doesn't know what to do with this because
who was the Dallas rep?
It was their assistant GM. It wasn't Nico. It was one of the guys below him.
Oh my God! Did he yelp? Yeah. Did he scream?
He shook the hands of the 2 reps on either side of him, and he clapped one time, and that one clap pierced the entire room because it was in such a stunned silence at that moment. Man. So, yeah, it was pretty cool to witness.
What a hit. That's the hit on the roulette wheel. Gina, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
There he is. She is, to Gina Mizell from the Inquirer, being in there as the representative. Sworn to secrecy. There it is.
Yeah, so
getting the Sixers' third pick. You want to break that story as quickly as you can, and you can't.
Well, at least she could start writing her story up. Right? You just can't publish it. Wait, so did Daryl Morey, Nick Nurse, and Elton Brand, as they're sitting at that table, do they know?
None of them knew.
Okay, none of them
Ned
knew.
Rice was the Sixers representation inside there.
Got
One
it.
of the, as we've pointed out a million times, 10 assistants to Daryl Morey.
And now he's got another one.
Does.
Jameer Nelson.
Oh, Jameer got elevated?
We found out today. He's assistant GM now.
Really?
Yep.
So Elton Brand is still assistant GM?
I guess
Ned Rice is still assistant GM? There's 5 other guys that are assistant GMs?
I guess they added somebody.
All right.
Just another name.
Congratulations to Jameer Nelson. It's the Mike Missanelli Show right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos. It's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.